Hi, I'm Paul Thiel from codeshare.co.uk. Welcome to this episode 4 of this series where I'll show you how to build an e-commerce website with Umbraco V8 using Vendr. This is just going to be a quick episode, just tidying up a few things before we get on to the actual checkout process. One of the things that was bothering me from the last episode is that we've got 2 cart links. Also, we had the opportunity to add the Toastify notifications and we didn't. And some other things like that as well. So what I want to do is get into doing that straight away in this episode, paving the way for us to be in a good position for when we move on to the next episode where we add the checkout process. So let me show you what I did. So on the Megan Thomas Lash's website, when you update cart, we've just got a little notification here that pops up. And if you add an item to the cart, we have one here, and also you can click on it as well. The way I've got this one set up is you can click on it and it will go through to the cart page. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do what we've done on this site. We're going to add it into our Vendr site. So let's get started then. So in our solution then, just undo changes there. Right, so in our solution, we want to go to our views and master. Right, so we've got our master, and that's got our scripts and CSS that we want to load, but also we want to go to our partials and main navigation. Now, we added the cart link hard-coded at the end here. What we can do is we can get this cart link ourselves at the top. So we can do cart page equals home page dot children of type, and then we can put in the alias, which is cart. That's the document type alias or content type alias in this new V8 world, and then we'll just say first or default. So go off and get us the first child of home that is of the content type alias of cart, and that will be our cart page. So then here what we can do, after we've rendered the other children, we can do if cart page not equal to null. So if we've got a cart page, then let's put this in. And then what else we can do with this is we can update the URL to be the URL of the cart page. We can remove these. I don't think these non-breaking spaces were necessary. We can remove those, and we can do at cart page dot name. So that will update that link there, and then we will still have the case where we've got 2 cart pages. So what we just want to do here is we want to just add an and into this where clause, and we just want to say and x dot content type dot alias is not equal to cart. So that will solve this for us. So now if we save those changes and we go off here, we should see this first cart disappear, and now we've got this second cart. So that's the cart bit sorted out. So that's good. So now we want to do it so we can update cart and add to cart, etc. So what we want to do in our master file, we want to add a reference to some JavaScript and CSS library. So these are hosted on a CDN somewhere. So first of all, the JavaScript, I'm just going to copy and paste it here, and you might want to pause it or go to the GitHub repo for this, but it's https cdn.jsdeliver.net/npm/toastify-js/src/ toastify.min.cs. So that's the CSS file, and then the other file that we need for this is html.requires.js, and then we want to do the cdn js deliver again .net npm toastify.js. So they're the files we need, and also what we need to do down here is we need to add a new section. So at render section, and we can call this scripts bottom, and we want to do a comma false so that it's not required on every view that inherits from this one. So, and then on our, let's start with the product. When we're on our product page, at the bottom, we're going to render the section at section scripts bottom, and in here, now if you remember when we did our cart surface controller, let's just go to this controllers, surface, cart surface controller, add to cart. You see that we had this added product reference. So in our product, what we can do is we can do an at if. Now, if not, and then temp data, square brackets, and we want to basically get this message here. If this question mark dot to string, so if it's not null and it has a string value and it's not is null or white space, I've got an extra bracket here, so I'm just going to sort that after. Now this is an extension method, this is null or white space. So how many roundeds do we need here? So we need one, oh yeah, one just in front of that. Okay. So basically if this ends up not being empty or null, that's just a shorthand way of getting to that. And this is an extension method. I believe it's from the Umbraco extensions. So string extensions, which is part of which file? Yeah, Umbraco core string extensions. So they've got all sorts of things in here that you can tap into. And that's what this one is here. Because normally you'd have to do string.isNull or white space. And then you pass in that. Whereas this is like on the end, so it's a good way of doing it after you've got the string here at this point. Anyway, if it's not null or white space, then in here we want to do a script block. Because remember, we're in our script bottom section, and we want to add an event listener so that we can tell it to run some JavaScript when the DOM content is loaded. Document.add event listener, and we want to listen out for DOM content loaded, and we want to give it a function to run, and our function is to call Toastify, and we want to set it up with some values that we want to call. So this is going to be so what I'm doing here is this is what calls this bit here, or on the product itself, more precisely it's this one here. So let's go back to this then. So the text, we've got a text value in here, so we want to say product added to cart successfully, and we want to say the duration of how long we show this for. So I want this to stay on, so I'm putting this to be 0, and if whilst it stays on, it gives them the opportunity to click on it and to close it, and it also reminds them that they've added something to the basket as well, rather than it disappearing. Destination, now this is where we can actually put in the cart page URL. So we could we could get the cart page up here. So like we did on the main navigation, let's grab that, put that up here. Oh, we might need to just get the home page above it. Let's do that. So now we've got a home page, we've got our cart page, and we can use the cart page URL. I think we can do something like if cart page is not equal to null, then add this bit of script in here. It might mess it up. We might regret this and come back to it, but yeah, it's looking like it. Tell you what, we could either just do /cart like this, or we could take a risk that it's going to be okay and just put it in at cartpage.url. So I'm just going to take a risk. I think it's going to be okay like that. It's up to you how you want to handle that. New window, I want to say false. So we're just setting some of these options here with this Toastify. Gravity, so I want it weighted to the bottom. And position center. Class name, no, I don't want to add a class name. And I think that'll be okay. And close, yeah, so we'll add a close button to that. True. Stop on focus, yeah, why not? Save it. If you're focused on it, it won't just close. And then what do we have after that? We just do show toast. So that's the JavaScript we need there for add to product. So in theory, this should just work. So I've saved all that. Let's go to the add to product part on here. Sorry, add product to cart. So I'm going to go into the product page. Hopefully we won't have any JavaScript errors or anything like that. Let's have a look. No, that's fine. So let's add to cart and see what happens. Yep, so product added to cart successfully. So that was quite good. So that's added that to our functionality. So again, that's staying at the bottom there. So, and because we added the cart URL, we can click on this and that'll take us through to the cart. One thing I do want to do is just style this so it takes the width of the content. And what we can do is we can just go into our, if we go into a CSS file, so the CSS file that we're using, if we look at the master file again, and we see we're using clean blog. So let's go into the clean blog file, down to the bottom. We want to add some style for this. So if we inspect it, it's this Toastify center, let's say. I want to grab that class and I want to change the width. We'll do width, and then I want to do, is it max width actually? Max width, and then I want to do max content. I think it's max content. Let's just inspect and try this. So inspect, max width. Instead of fit content, I want to change it to max content. Yeah, and that will have the desired effect. So by adding our own custom style here, that should do the trick. So let's reload and add to cart. No, it didn't work. Okay, what have I done wrong? Toastify center, max width, max content. So maybe it doesn't like the rule. Let's just inspect and see if it's. if it's even picked it up. All right. So one thing to note, when you are not debug, when you don't have your web config debug mode set to true, it will use client dependency, which basically bundles up all of these scripts and everything that you've defined up here. So if we go down to our web config file and we go to the compilation section here, compilation, and we change debug to be true, then that means that instead of bundling everything up using client dependency, what it will do is it will add every every reference as individual. So if I just inspect this and show you, in the head at the moment we've got link href. So this is a style sheet and it's just basically the dependency handler. But now that I've just turned on debugging, if we refresh again, we'll see links off to all the individual style sheets. So that's one thing to help you out there. If you're trying to change the style of these things, it's not updating, you're updating the file. Two ways of getting around it. You can increment the client dependency version by going in here into the config folder, client dependency, and incrementing that. Or you can just do it in debug mode locally, and that will, if I inspect, that will just render out all of these individually. So you'll see these links off to the individual style sheets rather than the client dependency version. Right, so let's refresh that, add to cart. Still not working. That's quite funny. So let's see what the issue is here. So does it pick it up? So did I put the style rule in properly? So clean blog, CSS, Toastify, center, max width, max content. Let's just inspect this. Toastify center, let's copy that. And let's just do div.toastify center. It's just inside body. I mean, you shouldn't need to include body, but just in case we need to have a bit more specificity. Right, so I've saved that and I want to empty cache and reload. So that's, if you've clicked on F12, you can right click on this, empty cache and reload. Hopefully that will work, and it has done. So now that's targeted it better, and we've got a nice message there, and if I click this, it will go through to the cart page. So that's the product one, the add to cart message sorted. We still don't have a message for update cart or go to checkout. So let's take what we put in the product one and do script bottom, and then go on to the cart page where we were before, and at the bottom of this one put it in there. Oh. Now what we want to do on this cart one is we've got a couple of different temp data values that we're using. First of all, we don't need the cart page. So the first temp data value, let's have a look in here. So we'll do it for update cart. So we added this cart updated equals true. So but basically we're just looking for any value in the cart updated. So we can just paste that over that temp data name. So if cart updated was found, then we want to do a new Toastify, and we want to say cart updated. Cart updated. And let's put this on for 3 seconds. And we don't need the new window because it's not relevant now. The gravity, bottom, and center again, and close. You can do other things like background color and everything, but I quite like the blue on here, so I'm going to leave that. Leave the close on to true, and stop on focus true. So let's save that and see what it looks like. So now if we right click on this empty cache and reload, oh, cart updated, so it did detect that it had been done. Okay, so just do cart updated, yeah. So that's good. Cart updated, okay. And it went away itself as well. So then the final one on these alerts like this is the one for removing the item from the basket. So what we want to do is copy this one. Well, you could put it in just one script block if you wanted to, but I've just got it actually stop. Just undo that. Copy the whole block. That's what I want to do, and then I can make it specific to this other message. So if we go to cart surface controller, item removed from cart, put that in there. So now this one's going to fire when we've removed something from the cart, and we can just say item removed from cart. And again, we'll just leave it with those defaults that are in there. So now we can reload the page. I don't think I actually did the reload without caching, so empty cache and hard reload. So let's remove it from it and see if we get the message. Item removed from cart. And I can dismiss that. So so far we've updated the cart link, so we only have one cart link. We've added those messages so that when you do add an item to cart, you get the message, etc. So that's good. And then the other thing that was bugging me was this bit here. So just adding a little bit of styling in here just to make this not look so rubbish. So we just go into the CSS file at the bottom again, and we'll just go into the page and we'll just inspect what it is and where it is. So it's within the form and it's div input group. So what we can do is we can do form and then div.input group. And if we wanted to, we could be more specific on the form. We could put an ID on the form. But at the moment, well, yeah, okay, let's add something to the form. So in here is where we declared the form, and we could do a new open and close, and this will be our HTML attribute. So I like to do the I do at class equals, and so I like to do it as well for ID, and we can do add to cart. So now when we look at this and we reload, we should see that this form itself has got the ID now for add to cart. So if we add this style rule, we won't accidentally mess it up for any other input groups. So our form doesn't seem to have, let me take that at off. Oh, now that's thinking it's additional root value. So we might need to do HTML attributes, and we might need to put that colon in there. So this is saying use it as HTML attributes. And if I just bring that into it so you can see, so I just did comma after cart surface, HTML attributes new ID equals add to cart. Now let's have a look. We should hopefully have a form with an ID that we can target in the CSS. And we've got an error. Right, okay, so I've obviously got to comment, I've got to pass in nulls, I think. So null for the additional root values. Okay, yeah, I think that's what it is. Again, I always leave these sorts of errors in so you can see where I went wrong and how I fixed it, because you've probably come across this yourself. Let's inspect. Now we have a form which has an ID of add to cart. Woohoo! So in here, in the CSS file, I can just do hash add to cart, and then I can do width 25% for that, and I can do margin bottom 20 px. So hopefully that will just bring that in. Yeah, exactly what it's done there. Bring it in, and also push the button down as well. So I'm happy with that. And that was it really for this episode. I just wanted to clean up some things that I wasn't quite happy with how we left before. I'll push this to the GitHub repo as well if you wanted to have a look at that. If you go to my GitHub, it's github.com/prjseal, and you'll be able to see my repos on there, and one of those is this Vendr tutorial. I'll make sure that it's public by the time this video goes out. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please click on like and subscribe to my channel. And if you wanted to say thank you, you can do. You could, if you want to, buy me a coffee, but there's no obligation for anyone to. All these videos are free, and I just enjoy making them. And also, if you're interested in Vendr, go to vendr.net, and you can find out all about Vendr, and you can go on their demo site and their documentation and everything like that. And I noticed on Twitter today that Matt from Outfield Digital, he was working on a new feature which is gift cards. So you can add products that are gift cards. People can buy those for people, and then you can manage the balances and see if they've been redeemed or not. So that was pretty cool, a new feature coming there with Vendr. Yeah, so as I say, please click on like if you like it, subscribe to my channel, click for bell notifications, and I'll see you on the next video where we move on to the checkout. Thanks for watching. Bye.